Good morning, Sturgis Chapel. Brother Don Pierson here, and Don Counts, and we're here at the courthouse. Now, I know several of you have asked us to come to your house, and we're going to try our best to fulfill that promise. But here's what happens. It just so happens that this is the convenient place for Don today, and so he's going one way, I'm going another, and this was the middle ground, and so this worked out good. So, the Saturday's devotion, we're in James chapter 1, starting with verse 4 through 8. Now, we looked at part of verse 4 last time, so let's read all these verses again. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally and without reproach, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith, with no doubting. For he who doubts is like a wave of the sea, driven and tossed by the wind. For let not that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Well, I don't think we'll get through all this whole section of Scripture on this devotion. I do want to call attention to the fact that God knows what He's doing. Everything that comes in the path of a saint, of a child of God, goes through God. He is perfecting and He is shaping us. He perfects and completes us through trials. He does that through our experiences, our good things, through other people, like iron sharpens iron. So, several years ago, I did a series of sermons, or actually it was when I was with the convention, on the tools that God uses to shape us. Suffering and trials are one of them. There's others. He uses people, and so He uses His Word, and He uses His church, but suffering is a way that God shapes us. I've been working on the sermon for Sunday, tomorrow, and the title of it is Can God Prepare a Table in the Wilderness? It comes from Psalm 78, verse 19, and it's a question. Can God prepare a table, a feast, in the wilderness? Of course, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Wildernesses aren't all that bad, and suffering aren't always bad. God can do amazing things in the midst of perfecting us. But verse 5, if we lack, if we don't understand that God is at work in our life, if we because of the trial and suffering just lose sight of the fact of what God is doing, God offers us a challenge, and that is to pray. Pray specifically, He says, for wisdom. He promises that if we will come to Him and ask Him for wisdom in the midst of the trial and suffering, that He will give us more than we will need. I don't know where you are at this time in your life. I don't know whether this is a wilderness period, a time of suffering or trial for you. I don't know whether you know what God is doing or don't. But if you don't, then God says to you, I'm waiting for you to ask. Ask for wisdom. Love you, Sturgis Chapel.